He can cook a shoe, and it'll taste delicious. You don't even have to bring your own, he says. And that's neat. It's Tom White. This is Teaching to the Test Pattern.
Hey, buddy, thank you so much for downloading this episode of Teaching to the Test Pattern. I'm Tom White, your host, and this is the finale on this series with Rob Calloway from Columbia High School in Atlanta. This episode, we talk about how to hustle. We talk about creating content with your students, and Rob's got a great message on how and where you can find support as a video production teacher. You're not alone. He's got a great way on how to handle that and how to find some resources there. This episode is brought to you by Amitrace.com, AMITRACE.com. The link is in the description below. Listen, I wish I had gone to them on my last studio build out. There are things that I have that I will use, but not enough to really make a difference. There are things I wish I had that I didn't get. If I had gone to Amitrace.com, asked them for support, I would have gotten a good quote that covered all of my wants and needs. I would have been shown how to use it instead of trying to figure it out on my own. I kick myself pretty regularly when I think about how much easier my life would have been last year when I was building out a new program. Amitrace.com. They are your broadcast solutions providers. They love educators. They are going to take care of you. Reach out to them today. Well, let's close out this series with Rob Calloway here on Teaching to the Test Pattern.
Teaching to the Test Pattern.
So, do you tell your kids how hard you work, or you make them guess?
No, they know how hard I work.
What do you tell them?
I work hard. no, I'm saying I don't know how everybody else handles their audio video class, right? But I'm the dude that I just come in and I just tell everybody what it is, right? I mean, good, bad, ugly, whatever. I mean, the thing about this classroom versus any other classroom, well, really CTAE, and you can vouch for this, is that they tell us to operate this like we own it. They tell us to operate this like this is a business, like we are the bosses, right? So, okay, so having been a part of media for 20 years, yeah, there's some things that these kids not going to want to hear. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if I'm going to operate it like I own it, then so is my mouth. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, because if you're really trying to train for a career in something, there's really no slacking. Okay? If you want to be a chef, you got to be the best chef that you can be, right? You got to know your knives, you got to know your forks. Like, you can't know your salad fork and your dinner fork, and you don't know which one of them is, but you talking about you a top-notch chef, right? Yep. You can't do that. If you design video games, you got to really know what you're doing. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm designing video games," and nobody's ever seen the video games. So it's pretty much, any profession, people want to see what you've done, right? They want to see what you've done. And so, and that's the thing about this class. Everybody in the building, my principal, everybody want to see what have y'all been doing. And when you don't have anything to show, then guess what? Then they look at you crazy. So then you have to hunker down and say, yeah, okay, well, now it's time for me to operate this like I own it. And since I own it, this is how things have to be. Not how they're going to be, but how they have to be in order for us to be able to attain any level of success.
So speaking of success, you talked about, just having to draw that workout. And we talked earlier about vulnerability. When you push products out and you get feedback.
All the time, man, let me tell you. And it's usually good. Like right now, it's Black History Month, so my first block, my combo class, we're actually doing these Black History Spotlight vignettes, right? Where every day, I send it out to the teachers and let them play, it's a 60-second video. And, my librarian, who is my biggest critic at the school, she always gives, it's usually positive. My principal, she's big, and if she hadn't seen anything from the classroom in about 2-3 weeks, then she's calling, wanting to know what's going on, right? Why haven't I seen anything? But from a certain perspective, I like the feedback, but see, I don't need the feedback. The kids need the feedback. You know, and so it's a lot of times if I get in feedback is stuff like the sub saying, your 4-block class just talked so much, they were terrible, right? That's the feedback that somebody left me. So then I had to give them the feedback, and then they don't want to hear that feedback.
So you got me all nervous because I don't know what my 4th block's doing right now.
See what I'm saying? Tom, knowing your class, I'm more than sure that they'll go make you so proud. They've already done the news live. What time do y'all broadcast in the afternoon?
2:55. I'm not doing it.
Y'all not doing it today?
But here's what's funty. I'm getting emails now. Hey, so I only did half the assignment.
Of course.
When I went back, it didn't save.
You know, no, this is my class favorite thing. Hey, I can't log into the Google Classroom. I can't log into the textbook.
If it was TikTok.
Oh, they all on that. Oh, no. Yeah, because if you went to TikTok when they telling you that they can't get the work done, they on it. They're on TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
No.
But we ain't smart enough.
No, FaceTime, Instagram Live, Snapchat. Oh, they doing all of that.
Yeah.
All of it.
But they couldn't get in classroom.
Right, couldn't do that part.
No.
The part they were actually getting a grade for.
Yeah.
And
the school equivalent of getting paid for.
That's what I tell them. The grades are their pay. Yeah. Now, have you tried to incorporate any of this stuff, this new stuff like TikTok? Have you tried to incorporate any of that into your class, like the curriculum?
Not necessarily in the curriculum, but yeah, I'm trying to. There's just so much. I mean, so here's my thought: TikTok, Snapchat for the kids. That's my marketing tool to the students. Instagram for the kids and younger parents. Facebook for the parents, for the parents of the old people. Yeah. But that's 4 things I got to create content for. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I cheat it too. Like I'll shoot a TikTok and then post it to Instagram and Facebook.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm like, man. But yeah, I'm starting the new program, trying to get my team, and my hope is that I build a team that will do that for me. I got the 2 video classes and the 1 digital media animation, and I wrestled last year. Like it sucked. It was awful. Like I had 2 kids. Like literally a class with 2 kids. It was like a bad date for 90 days.
Trust me, I know that feeling.
And I was like, man, this is awful. I'm not enjoying it. They're not enjoying it. So I was like, how do I make it something? What's the why? So we're doing all social media. So I'm literally training up, hopefully, an army of social media gurus that go to a basketball game, shoot some pictures.
And I noticed that you created the templates and all of that stuff for the basketball. So that is actually kind of
it's
cool.
Nice, and I can share it out. That's Adobe Spark. It's a mobile app, and it's great. The other day we had the region tournament. We played way up north. Like we end up going up to Hart County.
Like we're going to Carrollton. That's why our girls are going to Carrollton.
Yeah, but it don't snow much in Carrollton. It snows at Hart County regularly. Well, last Saturday,
it snowed on everybody Saturday.
Not me. It was nice at the house. Everything around me got canceled. It was raining, so there was Disney Plus and Fortnite happening.
Right.
But I just would in 5 seconds pop and send it out because the AD would send the newspapers and everybody. Here's pictures in my phone. Post a picture. Games postponed. Post it. The next thing you know, my logo is now on the newspapers. It's so the Adobe Spark thing's pretty cool. But getting it into the actual curriculum's tough, just because it's 15 to 60 seconds.
Yeah, but that's what I've been trying to figure out. If I could ever incorporate that aspect, the social media piece, because there is some social media stuff in the curriculum about social media etiquette and all that kind of stuff, because that's the one thing about the kids is that they don't really have any etiquette when it comes to social media, because I know the majority of my students were just students at Columbia. The stuff that they post on social media, like fights, like Columbia got a whole Instagram, like Columbia high school fights or something like that, where you could just see, fights at the school. And so, I tell them all the time, like every one of these kids that you see in here, they've all come to me at some point with some video like, ooh, I got to fight today. And I'm like, if you're so good with your phone and getting the fights, why can't you give me some real content that we can use during the school broadcast?
Game. Right. Give me just the cheerleaders on the sideline.
Just something. Yeah.
But you can. I really do think you can. With shoot, send them out to shoot, come back, cut it up, and you can post it to TikTok.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you can. It's just a matter of the and that's one of the things that I'm working with is changing my perspective. from landscape.
Yeah, and I say, have y'all? I know you did the vertical newscast.
We're still working on it.
Still ain't worked out. Okay.
It's there's some stuff, and I'm working with New Tech now to kind of figure out why it's just choppy. But man, when if I don't have anybody talking or I'm not trying to get sound, it looks great because it fills a phone beautifully. But so I'm working on me changing my mentality from portrait or landscape to portrait. So what is something that you teach that you think other teachers should do?
Oh, I don't know. Well, this part, I haven't had this podcast station set up this semester, right? But I feel like podcasts are something that, because it's not something that's new, but it's something that's evolving. And not to get long-winded, but when you start talking about radio, and the thing about radio is that people used to have listening habits when it came to radio. And so now with the trends changing, once upon a time ago, HD and satellite radio was supposed to compete, right? Well, here's the thing about satellite radio is you buy it, you pay for it, you can go right to the dial, you know how to get it. HD radio, a lot of folks have HD radio in their cars and whatnot and have no idea how to get to the HD2, HD3.
And if they do, they don't know. It doesn't, like the whole HD, they expect a different sound.
Right.
It sounds the same.
It's just sub frequencies. And so what has happened is through all of this, people's listening habits have changed. And so like I used to want, and I still do, I wanted just a school-based radio station where we could still play music and all that stuff during the day. Like maybe when classes are changing and, still had the kids, maybe a voice track the breaks or whatnot. But I really wanted to do that. But on the flip side, podcasting is something that I feel like you really need to try to get your kids involved in because everybody don't want to be in front of the camera, but they might want to talk. They just feel like, like me, like they got a face for radio. So they just like to be on the radio. So, it's just the option from the TV film side that we really focus on in these programs. And it just gives you another avenue to be able to expose kids to commercial production. Like I said, podcasting, if you incorporate some music, then you start actually talking about exposing them to the radio, to like real radio. And so, I mean, and it's inexpensive. Like I think, I got the mixer and I got 4 mics, 4 headphones, and I think it was like $300. And now I have a podcast set up. I just connected it to one of the Macs that we have in the classroom, and we up and running.
The thing I don't think a lot of people realize is your phone.
Oh, yeah, your phone is
I use Spreaker as my main source, and I can drop in
anything.
I can there's got the canned clap. See, I do tracks.
I do my personal podcast. I do it on Spreaker as well. Now the Spreaker app is phenomenal because it has the sound effects. I mean, you can actually do a show from your phone, and that's what I'm saying. But you have to expose them. You have to expose the kids to it because a lot of them have something that they want to say. And the stuff that they say is not geared towards me and you, it's geared towards other young people. And so they need to just be able to have those platforms where they can say these things and, and they know how to do it effectively. And then they can kind of generate, a fan base or a listenership. And then you up and running at that point.
And then you can start making money.
Money, right. Because that's the best part about Spreaker is that once you start getting hits, like you'll start getting money, and it'll start out small, like $25 at first, but the more and the thing that you're doing and how you actually promoting this, not just here, but you starting to promote it everywhere. Then soon you'll start seeing those hits from teachers all across the country, and then Tom White will start making that's when the big bucks start rolling in.
But I don't know even if I did, and my wife and I have talked about this. If I did, I don't know that I'd leave the classroom.
No, because you don't have to leave the classroom. Because see, if you left the classroom, then you would lose some of the content value for your podcast. So it's kind of like a component piece, and you share your experiences and have everybody else share their experiences in the classroom. So it's something that's needed. It's something that's really needed because other teachers, teachers like to hear other teachers' experiences and the stuff that they're going through.
Yeah, absolutely. And we like to commiserate in each other's misery.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And successes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and absolutely successes, too. Well, announcements are going to start in a couple minutes.
They are.
So we're going to wrap.
That's not part of the test pattern.
So what would you say to someone who is listening to this podcast for the first time and they're just making the jump into education? What would you tell them kind of as you can do it?
Life is not a sprint. It is a marathon, so you had to prepare yourself for the long haul. It's not going to be a short sprint to the finish line. You not just go walk in and automatically, become the GOAT of audio video, even though I'm sitting right here across from the GOAT. I'm sitting across from the GOAT. But you not go automatically just become Tom White. Like, that's just not going to happen. You're going to have to go to some conferences. You're going to have to actually have to create a network, so to speak, of people that do this, because that is the only way that you will really be able to expand your program. I mean, like, Tom, think about, we're in the middle of the workday and I'm always texting you like, Tom, dude, I need to know this. Like, I can't get this to work. I can't get this to work. Or I'll hit up any of the guys, Dempsey, any of the guys that are in our Facebook group, and I'll be like, so I need help with this. And the thing about it is the summer programs, the enrichment programs that we do, the PLs and stuff that we do, not only do we get exposed to more knowledge, but it allows us to be able to actually interact with each other. And that's what makes this part the best, is that we not added alone. It might seem like you added alone, but every day after school, I promise you, I go into our Facebook group just to see what everybody's talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people give out a lot of good information. They have, content that you can use for your kids. And so I just say, don't give up. Be involved as much as possible. You got to sign up and be a part of like Skills and TIGA and what's the thing I still haven't done in the summer?
TNI.
TNI. You got to do that. See, listen. I can't do it this summer though, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Whatever you got going on, cancel it.
I can't.
I'm telling you.
I can't. I got school going on. I can't.
Bring them with you. Bring it with you. So I appreciate it so much. Thanks to your students who
they were patient.
They were patient. They didn't, they listened somewhat. They paid attention a little.
But it's good.
And then we had a good time.
Yeah, we did. Anytime we get together, brother, it's always a good time.
I appreciate it. And
I'm glad that your original guest canceled, so that I can actually be on here with you, man. This was awesome, man. And I know this is your show, but I just had to say this. I hope this doesn't get cut out.
It won't.
But dude, I do appreciate everything that you do for all of the teachers in the state of Georgia, because, that's why I call you the GOAT. Everybody knows you. I mean, everybody knows you because you're a pivotal part of what we're trying to do and trying to get these kids to the next level, right? So that they can be productive citizens out here in the community. So I appreciate what you do, brother.
Man, I appreciate that. And the only reason I'm able to do it is because I came in at a time where I wasn't like you. I had another video teacher right across the hall, James Dinsmore, who I could literally go over to him at any time and go, hey, dude, what is going on? But then I realized that 90% of teachers don't have that.
It's just us. We just the only ones in the building.
And so that's why, and that's one of my biggest passions is seeing those teachers that come in and are in the education. I mean, I've talked to teachers who didn't last 3 weeks.
It's very easy to do.
And for me, that breaks my heart for the teacher and for those kids, because, what we do has an impact that lasts.
It does.
We could be making generational differences.
Right.
We can change a family
right.
tree.
And that's what I told you earlier. Dude, I've quit this job more times. I quit this job more times than anybody knows. Like, I have literally worked there. I am not going back to that place tomorrow.
But isn't it funny when that happens? And I remember the one time I literally was sitting at my desk and I went, something's got to give. I'm done. I literally got a phone call 5 minutes later congratulating me because our program was National Program of the Year.
See?
I mean, every time. And it's not always that big. It's a kid coming in a little bit later whose grandmama died and she's got to have a root canal and all these things and she just needs a hug. You don't have to pay me that day. And those are the things that keep us in here. So, but I appreciate it again. We'll get out of here before the announcements start.
Absolutely.
So we don't know what's for lunch tomorrow at Columbia High School.
It won't be spaghetti.
Oh man, no spaghetti. I would definitely not be back tomorrow. I think what's sad is they had spaghetti today at Morgan.
Oh no!
So, but
Spaghetti Gate lives on.
Spaghetti Gate. They knew I was going to be out, so I appreciate it again. And thank you for your time. Bro.
Absolutely, man.
Teaching to the test pattern.
Well, that wraps it up for my conversation with Rob Calloway. Again, thank you so much to Rob and his students for allowing me to come into their space and spend an hour or so the day before a break. The last period of the day, the kids were super awesome, well behaved. They were engaged. They asked questions before and after, and they were just all around great human beings. And Rob is one of my favorite people on earth. I wish I could spend more time with him, but there's about a 50-mile difference between us. Thank you so much for downloading this again. I got some episodes with Andy Blanton from Georgia Tech coming out. I've got some product reviews coming out in the next couple of weeks, so make sure you keep an eye out for those. Thank you so much again to Amatrace for their support, amatrace.com, AMITRACE.com. Go check them out. They can take care of you as you build out or build up in your equipment world. Thank you again. As always, go make some awesome.
Teaching to the test pattern.